world, that there's something that happened, that is causing pain, and that people can take a moment collectively, that we don't have to wait till Sunday for somebody to organize, a silent moment, and it's more about de-escalating in the moment of saying, this happened today. I want to feel part of a larger global community. And I think that it's key with everything that's going on politically too, and not to get too far down that track, but it's what's happening politically for us makes this moment, it makes it even more important that we can find our commonalities. And even if our commonality is just, I'm a human being, you're a human being, and, we're worried.
Well, it's so important to do this when we're becoming a global society, because the clash of cultures that are going on is going to create a political unrest just by itself. Mm-hmm. It's like bringing any groups together, just even on a small scale, you bring outside groups together, there's going to be clashes. And so the fact that we are so much more worldwide connected, we're going to have a lot of those clashes, and we have to figure out how to get past that. So there's going to be political issues just based on that. Yes. And then the change adds another dimension. And then the fearfulness of change by the people that are in power adds a whole other. And then, of course, there's the whole money issue and other things that I talk about a lot. But
personal safety, that's just, am I fed? Are my children fed? Are we safe?
Yes. And then also the governments with their money issues, it's just, there's on a personal note, and then there's on a government note. But then what I like about this is getting back to, well, how do we solve some of these? I mean, we need people taking on this challenge to make it a better place. I'm one of those that thinks, well, I don't know if world peace is ever really possible, because I think on a government level, we could get world peace with always having kind of rogue people in charge in governments, the problems like that. And then you always have the gang mentality. So you have gangs fighting each other. But I think we can get to a point where we're at a much more of a level of world peace, and it's something we should fight for all the time.
Well, I think there's a couple of things that you just said that are so important. Part of it is building commonality, that what this does, meaning what technology does in general, is it evens the playing field as far as having a voice. If you're able to get to a medium where you can put something out, you have a voice in the world community. And what that does is it creates a place where we no longer have the ability to create a wall, no matter what anybody says. You see behind the wall, there cannot be, another Cold War or an Iron Curtain. We know what's going on the other side of that wall, that curtain, and we see our commonalities. And that's part of what this does, is on a very basic level goes, oh, we're all here on the planet now, having a similar experience at this moment, and changes the conversation from nation to nation, to people. And I think that's the key thing, that when I look at politicians now, I think in terms of a global community, not just America, and I think that's a societal shift that's going to happen through technology, is that it's not just, okay, it's not about, we are the greatest nation any longer. It's that, are we a nation that takes care of our own and is a good global citizen as a nation?
Well, the scary part is that some of the companies don't see themselves as a United States corporation. They see them as an international company. And so we have to make a point to refocus on some of the things of how do we take care of ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, it's one is not at the cost of the other. Actually, it becomes more of a moment where you're thinking as a whole, but it isn't, I don't think it's about going beyond our borders and not paying attention to what we have, what's happening here. And, one of the things that we talked about, before we got on the call, when we were talking about the documentary that we're working on, that we're taking a moment.
Yes. And I want to talk about your documentary.
Yeah. We're taking a moment to go across country as well as all around the world. And we're filming, well, we're calling them peace blogs, but basically we're asking people, like, how are you feeling right now as far as what is your state of peace? What is your personal state of peace? And what do you feel like the overall global state of peace is? And is it possible, if we have more personal peace, we may bring more peace to the world, And again, those sound kind of, pink bubble thinking, but it goes back to the basics that if you are a more peaceful person and have a way of coming into the world that is from that perspective, when you're presented with something that's different from you, something that you might consider an other, you're going to have more resiliency and compassion and ability to have a conversation and say, how's that working for you? As opposed to, what are you talking about? And that's what we have to cultivate. And so, we're having these conversations with people all over the world. We were in Pakistan after the Lahore attacks, and, we're heading over to, some of the refugee camps, in Germany. And I am personally traveling cross country and literally going from state to state over the summer and interviewing people from all walks of life about, how they're feeling about the election cycle and how that is affecting them personally and what they want to see for the world, so that we can tie it together and really get a sense, like I said, a pulse of what is going on around the world at this moment in time.
You're filming in over 100 countries, right? I mean, you're really
all over the place. Yes. And
you are really putting effort into this, which is amazing. Yeah. What do you feel is the overall purpose of this thing?
Well, for the documentary?
Yes.
It started actually after 9/11. My background at the time, I was working with restorative justice practices and working in jails and also in the corporate settings as well, but talking from a perspective of how do you communicate and nonviolent communication and all of those kind of things. And my response to 9/11 was getting in a car and driving up and down the West Coast and working with high school students and finding out what their perspective was and wanting to open up a conversation with them, but not doing it from any place of terror, not coming in and talking directly to what had just happened, but to get a sense of where they were and where they, what was on their mind. And what ended up happening, which is similar to what you were talking about, like, is world peace possible? A young boy kind of looked up at me and said, I can't do this. You keep thinking like the next generation's going to take care of your problems. Like, you created this and now you're telling us we're going to fix it. And world peace is too big for me. And at that moment, I looked at him and I said, well, what about 3 feet of peace? Can you do 3 feet? Like your personal 3 feet circumference? Can you create a peaceful world around you? And, how do we, you cut each other off in traffic on the way to church or yoga, and then you sit down next to each other and supposed to be in some spiritual place, and you weren't bringing that to the street, and how do you do that? And so that becomes the conversation that I was looking to have then, and then now I'm wanting to create globally. Like, how do we stop and create a moment where we can as a knee-jerk reaction, instead of the fear, go to a place of hope and calm. And so I think that's what the videos are about is, people are kind of stunned right now, Sarah. I think that people are looking around the nation going, is this who we are? Is this America? And I want to find out who America is. And then find out who we are in terms of who we are as part of the global picture.
Well, and I would think it's one thing to have this much fast change in the United States, but a lot of these other countries are starting from a technology place that's where they didn't have any technology, and they're kind of getting thrown into the change at world, at lightning pace. It's lightning pace here, but very quick there. How quickly some of these changes are occurring. So it'll be interesting to see what their thoughts are as well, and relating it back to, how that's affecting everybody. I love the idea of getting a pulse of what we are as a country, because I'm not sure if we know. We think we do, but we're all over the place.
Yeah.
Oh, the other thing I wanted to talk about is your documentary being at such a high quality. I'm going to get into a different topic about funding, but talk about what I want to share your thoughts on what I just talked about.
The quality of it. Well, I do have a background in the arts and in filming, and so I really enlisted some of my favorite filmmakers that I could find. Jorg Fokel and Amir Jafar are wonderful award-winning photographers and filmmakers, and have worked with, everybody from Sundance Channel, National Geographic too, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, yeah, the quality of your documentary is very high, and you're traveling to countries all over the world. You're traveling all over our country. This is a very costly documentary. And did you do a major fundraising for this or what?
Well, we continue to do fundraising for the whole thing. So, I mean, it's ongoing. It's an ongoing fundraising effort.
I am sure. Do you have big people? Do you have donors that are putting money into this, or is it small?
Yes, we do have donors, and then we're self-funding in some ways. And part of it also is to the initiative for the app. And so, that's part of what we're doing in our funding model for the app. It's really important that the people who get involved with the whole funding, match our ethos. I've turned down money.
Have you really? That is actually impressive.
Yeah. Because
Why did you turn down money? What was the reasons?
Because it's something that's going to grow exponentially. And I know that, and that I want to make sure that, as as an entrepreneur, as you grow an idea, and especially if you're working on something like world peace, this is not a vanity project,
Yeah,
this is about the whole, and so I have to make sure that everybody that enters in is coming from that perspective.
We need to take a short break, and we'll be back with Business Game Changers and Deborah Green in a moment.
Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Pat. The ancient Inca root vegetable maca is world-renowned for its wide array of health benefits. As a family-run company of true maca specialists, the maca team's mission is to provide you with fresh, organic, premium quality maca powders at a fair price. Amazing. All of the products are always organically grown, fair-traded, GMO-free, fresh, and potent. So don't take my word for it. Experience the life-changing benefits of maca today. Visit themacateam.com.
There are so many resources out there for meditation. But did you know that Atana's Heart Earth Healing Meditation is available for you for free? Yes, that's right. You can receive this free healing meditation today from Atana Badili. All you need to do is visit his website, atanamethod.com. That's ATAANA method.com, and sign up. You will receive your free meditation instantly. That's atanamethod.com.
Are you ready for a game changer? Sarah Westall is bringing you Business Game Changers Radio. Sarah brings you leading experts, visionaries, and newsmakers who provide the best commentary on big issues and cutting-edge innovations. Sarah's 20 years as a business executive will help you think like an entrepreneur with expertise, energy, and attitude. Tune in to Business Game Changers Mondays at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Hey everyone, this is Dr. Pat. I am so thrilled. I've had the honor of working with Leslie Fontaine for the past year or so, and what she has created in her hit program, Sheer Alchemy, transcends what most of us get to listen to or hear in any point in time in our lives. But beyond that, Leslie is working with people all over the world, and she has created something phenomenal based on the feedback and input from the archangels, from the ascended masters, from the light beings, and most importantly, from each and every one of you. So if you want to change your life, if you're ready to step into your own version of sheer alchemy, please give Leslie a call at 678-665-3366. And why? Because this is what you're going to be prepared to do. Be amazed, and on your part, connect with the ascended masters that are there to help you custom make the life that you are meant to live.
A word of caution: if you prefer the status quo and you are not interested in improving every aspect of your life, this book will trigger the shift out of you. The Truth is Funny, Shift Happens is available now. Author Colette Steffen brings the powerful knowledge and life-changing energy and empowerment from the radio airwaves to the pages of her new book. To get your copy in paperback or ebook, visit thetruthисfunny.com today.
And welcome back. This is Business Game Changers, and we're talking to Deborah Green, and she is the National Director of the Peace Alliance. And we are talking to her about her amazing documentary and her Live a Moment initiatives that she is doing. But before we get into that, I want to remind you that you can see all of my past shows and hear all of those at sarahwestall.com.